Anyway, it's nice being here at the NORML convention that I almost didn't go to. I walked into, they got another event going on next door. And I walked in there and we had a nice meal. And I looked around and I thought everybody was normal, from NORML because you have the hip looking people and that. Then I found out it's adult entertainment gathering. No wonder they all knew me. Hey, John, how are you doing, man? But it's nice, and it's Eddie's kids. They're raising money for Eddie's kids, and that's nice. We made a few stops on the way here because we were lost. And, when stoners get lost, we don't worry about it, because we expect to be lost. That's why we never ask directions. We just get in the car and we expect the car to know where we're going. And the car usually does. I mean, you guys are all here. You made it. The interesting thing about my career, I've made a lot of money talking about pot. And I feel really blessed because when I think back on my career and how much money I've made and how many people I've met and how many countries I've visited, and my job was very simply getting stoned all the time and talking about it. Now, can you think of a better job than that? I can't, man. And so when I had to go to jail, I went to jail. It was almost like, it was about time, I was getting away with too much for so long. And not doing any more than just getting high and talking about it. That's all. And when Cheech and I made movies, well, first of all, we made the records. And I'm writing a book now, so I'm kind of going through the old memory lane. And I realized writing the book, first of all, I couldn't get going on a book. If you guys write, you know how tough it is to get started. You make a ton of false starts. You fight with yourself. It's terrible. There's no reason why you can't write, but you can't write because you can't really fucking get going. It's just the way it is. And then I was at the last NORML convention in Aspen, and it was a lot of fun. And I was at Hunter Thompson's house. And I went there because, I'm a big fan of Hunter's. And I felt his ghost. I really did. And his ghost talked to me. Not in words, but just feelings. And I felt his spirit. And his spirit was telling me, what the fuck are you doing? You're never going to write a thing if you don't smoke up first. Because I wasn't smoking up. I was trying to be very straight. You're going to write. I'm going to do this with a clear head, and nothing would come out. But when Hunter talked to me, it made all the sense in the world. Of course. I wouldn't have been doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be writing about who I am unless I'd smoked pot first. That's where it all came from. My whole career started with a guy handing me a joint and a Lenny Bruce record. Yeah. And that joint lasted me for a whole month. It did, man. I would take a toke and put it up because I wasn't sure, how much I should smoke, and I wasn't sure when I'd be getting some more of this shit. So what I did, I lit up, I took a toke, then I put it out, and then I'd listen to a Lenny Bruce record and laugh until I was sick, man. And that started my whole thing. I wasn't a comedian by no means, but I knew enough since then that if I wanted to be creative, if I wanted to listen intelligently to anything or read intelligently, I had to get high first. I had to smoke up first. Because what it would do, it would focus you on whatever you had at hand. And that was, to me, was the greatest thing about pot. I mean, it's also the biggest, people talk about it. They say, stupid stoners, sit there and stare at a wall all day. Well, if you're stoned, that wall is telling you a lot of shit, boy. Because really what you're doing when you're stoned is you're doing what all religions try to teach you to do. They all try to teach you to go within. The kingdom lies within. When you meditate, what do? You close your eyes and think of nothing. Stoners, we do that with our eyes open, man. So it's very important. So when I started writing the book, and I made all these false starts, and I'd write a bunch of shit that didn't mean nothing. And then I toked up. And then, I didn't toke up. Let me take that back. I ate a brownie. I ate one of those beautiful brownies. And when you eat a brownie, you can't put a brownie out. You can't take a toke and put that brownie out, man. You get a brownie, you take it, and you know that you don't want to smoke, you don't want to eat it all because you know that it had to be made by a stoner. And when stoners make anything, they put the ingredients in the frying pan, they whip it up, and then they go, did I put pot in there? Oh, I better put some more in. They whip it up some more, and then they go, I better put some more. What the heck? And so now you got like a kilo of wheat in a little brown square thing like this here. And when you take a little corner, because you're smart, you're not stupid, if you're intelligent, you take a little corner and you taste it, and sure enough, it gets you fucked up. Now, you're stoned, you got the munchies, and you're holding a fucking brownie. I don't care who you are, man, it's impossible to keep that hand from going, no. That's exactly what I did. Then, I sat down and I started writing, and I wrote, I don't know how many hours I wrote, but I was there writing. My son came in and says, wow, Dad, man, you've been at it like 3-4 hours, man, straight, writing. And I wrote half the book just on that brownie. And then it also served another purpose. While I was sitting there, because I'm getting older, and us old guys, when we sit too long in any one spot, we sort of, get hard, not in a good way. Things sort of seize up on you. And I got the worst pain in my butt, man. And I had to go. I've been going to the doctor getting it treated, But the good news is that guess what makes it feel good? The cannabis. It is so, that plant of ours, man, and it's coming onto its own. And the other magical thing about the plant, the herb that we're here celebrating, is that it helps us overcome adversity. It helps us overcome all the powers that are against free speech, freedoms that like this government has been thrown at us. And it does it in such a cool way. Because when you read the Bible, I got into the Bible when I was in jail. No, I did. Because it was, up until then, the only thing I had with the Bible was that if I was in a hotel room and I didn't have any papers, I'd go, It works, man, and you guys know what I'm talking about. You wouldn't be laughing. But I started reading the Bible in jail. And if you're a stoner and you read the Bible, it's full of stoner things, man. The first page, it says, God is known as the Most High. And there's nothing else behind it. It's just God is known as the Most High. Big capital letters, high. It only has one meaning. And he turned Moses on. I love the Moses story. That's my favorite story. And Moses talked to the burning bush. I've done that. And God gave Moses that bush personally. That meant God had to be the first dealer. I mean, think about it. You're a stoner. You think about it. You can see God on the mountaintop looking around going, "Psst, Mo. This bud's for Jews." Huh? And that God bush wouldn't go out. It stayed lit for 40 years, man. According to the Bible, it was probably written by some stoner, man. Of course it was. And the people followed the burning bush and Moses. And they followed the flame by night and the smoke by day. And the people were going after Moses going, "Hey, give us a hit, motherfucker. Come on, shotgun." And he led his people into the wilderness. And they've walked for 40 years. 40 years. They had to be lost. You know, Moses' wife was probably walking beside him going, "Will you ask somebody?" But stoners, man, we get lost easy, you know. But that's, there again, if you're stoned, you don't care. I mean, I don't care. I go, when I'm driving, I get lost on purpose sometimes, man. Just to see some new shit, man. The weed, I'm telling you. And especially now with all this global warming shit coming on, what plant is going to survive all that sunshine? I wonder. And it doesn't need much. It grows anywhere. And can you imagine the stupidity of this government when every time you see them burning fields of pot, and then you look really close at all the guys burning it, they're all fucked up, man. Throw some more on there. Let's burn it up some more. They're burning, you know, what they're burning, and it's so silly because all they're doing is creating more fertilizer for the next crop. To show you how stupid this government is, there's a country, an island in the Marshall Islands called Palau. Now, Palau, I visited there, and it's a beautiful little island, 400 little, you know, those Budweiser commercial islands, you know, with a little palm tree and, you know. The Palauans get paid $1 million from the DEA to burn their crops. And so what they do, they grow 2 crops. They grow one for the $1 million. Then they grow the other one for them. It makes perfectly good sense, man. And Palau is a place where the women rule. It's a matriarchal society. And the women rule because the men are way too fucked up to do anything. I was there, man. They don't even have furniture in their house. They sit on in the doorway and watch television, you know, and smoke up, man. They got it. They got it licked, man. Because, and you know, and the reason they can get away with it is because it's an American protectorate. In other words, America conquered all these places and they took over. Puerto Rico was another American protectorate. And so you have sort of American freedoms. On the other side of the coin, now, I flew into Bali. But my son, he wants to live there someday, and so he talked us into going to Bali last Christmas. And it was kind of frightening because as we were landing, the captain came on and says, just to remind you, there's a death penalty for any drug offenses. And my butt tightened right up then, Mona. Because I'm thinking, oh my God, are they going to know who I am? You know, I mean, they could find dope on me no matter how hard I search for it, man. They're going to find it. I mean, you know, when they start doing that Homeland Security search at the airport, man, I would go through all my stuff, and inevitably they go, "Oh, what's this, Mr. Trump?" So flying into Bali, that scared the shit out of me. That's scary shit. It is very scary, but you realize why they have the death penalty. It's not to stop the flow of drugs. It's to enable the crooked authorities, the police, to extort every penny they can out of these poor suckers that they arrest. And what they do, they have agents that sell the pot to surfers and to wherever else, the Australians. There's mostly Australians in jail there. and they sell the pot to them, and they hustle the pot, and then they bust them. They tell on the guys. They get the pot back to sell it to someone else, and they get a few bucks, and the police and the jail systems make all the money. And this is thanks to our American policy. This is America that's done all this here stuff, and people have been executed. Yeah, I mean it's. Yeah, that's what I just said that, man.
You said it after I said it. So we got the bad memories.
Anyway, okay, I didn't want to put you on a bummer, but I just want you to know, that around the world that freedoms like that we have now, and thank God for our system, and thank God for karma. Yeah. It's karma. It's karma that's done all this for us, I mean, with me, like when I got busted, I didn't resist. I read something that's very, very profound that I've always followed. Let go and let God. Yes. I've always followed that. That's the easiest thing to do. If you don't resist, they have nothing to bounce against. They have nothing to fight against. If you stand up there and resist, they'll kill you because they have the guns. But if you don't resist, you just agree with them no matter what the fuck they say. Is this your dope? Yeah, it is, man. That's why there's so many potheads in jail, because we don't lie. For some reason, pot is like a truth serum. I don't know what it is, man, but because I've seen them search kids, and they ask a kid, "You got any pot on you?" And the kid will be going, "Yeah." Oh, fuck, I got ripped off, man. And then the cop will walk away and the kid will go, "Hey, I found it." I never got paranoid till I was 3 months into my sentence. True story, man. I woke up one night and went, fuck. I shouldn't have put my face on a bong, Pot mentality. But it's not a bad thing, man. When I went to jail, I was treated like Nelson Mandela. I was treated like a hero, man. Even the guards were asking me for my autograph, and they weren't supposed to. They weren't allowed to. But the prisoners, I took pictures every night. It was just like a normal convention, all the prisoners taking pictures. How are you doing? But even in jail, this government, they have a system of what they do is they put snitches everywhere. And what they do, they'll arrest somebody and they'll say, listen, if you don't cooperate with us, you're going to get 30 years or 40 years or whatever. But so here's what we want you to do. Here, give this joint to Chong and we'll do the rest. And so that's what they did. When I was in jail, I got offered dope every day almost. And almost every day I got drug tested at the same time. So I had to quit. I quit for 3 years, man. And I got to tell you, man, quitting for 3 years, it really did me good because I found out one thing. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make... I was just as slow and stupid as it was 3 years later that I was when I'm stoned. No difference. In fact, it was good to know that. It was good to feel that, It was good to quit for a while. It did me a world of good. Made my, got my health, got me good, everything happening. But as soon as I tried to start writing that book again, man, I reached for my joint. But just to sum up everything, this is my philosophy. What I learned in jail is that if you let these people talk without answering them back, they will run out of things to say. That's what, like you look at the Republicans now. They're trying to get Hillary to do something, to say something. Why hasn't the Democrats stopped the war? They're looking for something that they can argue against or point against, but they can't. All they have to do now, the Republicans, is read about their members getting caught soliciting sex in a shithouse, That's all they got to look forward to. Because that really sums up the Republican Party. They're in the shithouse looking for sex. And we're going to keep them there. Not by forcing them to do anything, but by not not giving them anything to bounce off or say, we got to get these guys because they're a threat to our security. All that threat bullshit, man. It's gone. It's gone. And George Bush, man. I mean, I look at George now, and George is cool. George is a retard. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we know that. He knows that. His parents know that. The guy that that I look at is Dick Cheney, because Dick Cheney represents the Republican Party, in as much as that they believe in booze. They're alcoholics. And alcohol really makes you do horrible things, man. Well, look at what they did to Cheney. He got so drunk he thought his best friend was a duck and shot him. Now, if anybody needed a shotgun in his face, it'd be Dick Cheney, man. But anyway, I want everybody to have a good time and, support NORML and look for my book. It'll be out probably next year. It's the unauthorized biography of Cheech and Chong. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man. That was terrific, Tommy. Thank you, man. Thank you very much, Tommy. Hey, well, I mentioned today